Hi, my name is Gwen. You're probably wondering why I look chill in a situation like this. Well, let's just say, the moment we moved into this house, I knew there was something else right here with us, but they wouldn't listen. In fact, given what happened, it would be okay if it was just ghosts, but it was something much more sinister. Of course, before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our must-watch STA videos. On the first day here, while everyone was inside unpacking, I chose to be here and kick a ball around. I learned to play from my dear late dad. Oops! I tracked the ball and found it right in the hands of a crooked old woman wearing a hooded cloak who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Her nails were so long, they almost wrapped around the ball. Ick! My ball, please?
The last owner of your house disappeared.
Finally, she let me have the ball, and I wasted no time in speeding right back to my house. Once I was at the porch, I turned around to take another look at the woman, but ick! The old woman was already behind me.
Stay away from the basement if you want to live.
Predictably, my mom and her husband didn't believe a thing I said when I told them about the old woman at dinner.
Gwen, don't you like the food?
You promised we'd have stir-fry.
This is Iris's favorite, and it's her first night here.
It's everyone's first night here. How typical of Mom. Whatever her stepdaughter wanted, Mom made sure she got it. It made me wonder if she still loved me.
Girls, this house is so cheap. Wonder why the owner just left it empty for so long.
The old woman next door gave me a good reason why. This house is haunted.
We have a scaredy cat at the table. Want some milk, little kitty?
Girls!
Great news. I think I can buy that beat-up Volkswagen we saw for sale in town with the money we saved from renting this place.
That sixth-hand car? Ew.
That reminds me. We need to stay away from the basement.
Exactly what the witch neighbor said.
There was a fire in the basement, so it's quite unstable.
Great! A haunted house built on an unstable basement. What could go wrong?
Nothing's going to go wrong.
Here's a good life hack to learn. Never say, what could go wrong when staying in a haunted mansion you just moved into because your cheapskate stepfather found the deal of a lifetime? Because it will always go wrong.
Oh, sorry, girls. I'll make it up to you.
You can start with us leaving this house.
Maybe it's a good thing we've moved into this house. We might get to see your real dad's ghost. Iris! Girls, let's get cleaned up.
After our terrible dinner, I just cleaned up and went to bed. How could she bring up my father like that? How could Mom let her? It made me so mad. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every shadow in my room became a monster. I couldn't stop thinking of Dad. We had a happy family back then. No Iris, no new stepdad. Yeah, it's haunted. You know those horror movies where characters go into scary rooms and you're like, don't go in there, fool! Yeah. Well, when in real life, it's a lot harder to stay in the room than go check things out. Still pretty foolish. Iris? Mom? Mom's husband? Who's there? I have a stick. 2 sticks.
Hey, it's just me, sweetheart. What is it?
I heard something.
Maybe it was the sound of me coming out of my room.
I also saw something. Like someone down there.
You worry too much. And just in case you forgot, my name's Koshnuts, not Mom's husband.
I like Mom's husband better. After that, I had even more questions. What was Mom's husband doing out of his room at that time of night? What stopped him from going downstairs to confirm what I saw? Something was fishy with that man and this house. The sooner I figured it out, the faster I could convince my mom that we should leave and go back home. The next morning, I went for a run to clear my head, but my shoes chose to disappoint before I could get home. Ugh, bad timing, Mr. and Mrs. Shoes. Ugh. The problem with not having a lot of money is that you have to buy pretty cheap things with short lifespans. Ouch! Watch where you're going.
Sorry, I think Bigfoot just walked through here. Saw footprints.
Looks like you're the Bigfoot I was tracking.
The guy was very stunning. Black hair, blue eyes, even had dimples. I'm a sucker for dimples. Dude, honestly,
Okay, you caught me. I'm just clumsy. I bet we've got the same shoe size.
are you looking for trouble? I knew I had unusually big feet for a girl, but being insulted twice by a strange guy, that's something I wouldn't tolerate.
Not at all. Actually, your house is still pretty far off. Just take them. Don't worry, they don't stink. That much?
Thanks, but what about you?
My house is very close by. See ya!
Hey, how did you know where I live? For most of that day, all I thought about was that guy at the park. His manner of approach had been really awkward, but his cuteness more than made up for it.
The sixth disappearance of a set of priceless paintings from the National Museum has the whole city in confusion. Who is behind?
The National Museum? That's just a few blocks away from here.
Just then, Mom came and cuddled up next to Dad. Ugh, my eyes. Did they have to remind me they got married like a month ago? I looked away from them only to notice something about the painting hanging over the fireplace. Hey, how did this painting of the horse become an antelope today?
Gwen, the house isn't haunted.
It's called evolution. The horse has evolved into an antelope.
So many clowns in this world. I'm serious. That was a horse last night.
Miss Grumpy Pants, what's your deal?
You are my deal. You and your dad.
Gwen, you know why you're seeing and hearing things? Because you won't accept change. You're determined to hate this house and everything in it.
You know what we need? A family outing. Do a little bonding? Might affect our budget for the month, but let's do it anyway. Next week?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a pain. The last thing I wanted was to sit down and have a cozy chow feast with those two. I didn't ask for any of this. I was happy back home, at least while my dad was still alive. That evening, I found my first evidence to prove we weren't the only occupants of this house. Come here for a bit.
I don't want to wind up in the trash.
Look,
Okay, I'm looking at soda bottles. So?
nobody in this house drinks soda.
So who?
Exactly.
Are they a match, Sherlock?
Let's see where they go. I walked around the house only to see the footprint stop at a wall.
Oh, mighty sleuth wizard, you have found a wall. Brilliant.
Don't you know what this means? The basement.
Of course it does.
Iris, we found bottles. Tracks. I'm calling the police. At this point, I was majorly freaking out. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Hello? Police? Please come here right now. We are living in a haunted mansion. There's creaking, shadow people. Our food flew to our heads. A horse turned into an antelope. Now there's footprints. Hello? Police? Hello?
You know there's a law against prank calling the police. I'm telling Dad.
I couldn't believe that the police actually cut me off like that. And it made me wonder if I was actually going crazy. When Iris told my parents I called the police, they yelled at me for an hour straight. Just another terrible day. Early the next morning, I came out to the park again hoping to see Frank, return his shoes, and maybe chat.
Fancy meeting you here.
Thanks. What's your name?
Don't tell me. I'm Frank. You sound like someone whose name will start with a J or maybe G. Gina, Gabriel, Gwen,
It's Gwen. How did you...
I'm very good at guessing. You looked really worried before.
I guess the new house and I aren't getting along.
Missing old friends.
There's that, and then I've been hearing and seeing things that make me feel like the mansion is haunted.
Are you the ones that moved into the mansion abandoned for decades?
Yes,
That house, there's, lots of stuff going on. Your family, you want to keep them safe, right?
Frank, what are you talking about?
Just the basement. Stay away from it.
So says the witch next door, too.
Hey, I know. Let's go to the arcade.
Was he asking me out on a date? Sure. What have I got to lose? The time we spent at the arcade was the most fun I had had since we moved here. Frank and I played different games, and even though he beat me at most, I won a few. All too soon, we had to go.
I haven't had that much fun in years.
Huh? Why?
I should go now. I'll call you.
For some days after I told Frank about the house, nothing strange happened again. I began to feel that maybe everything had been in my head. Just as I was convincing myself nothing was wrong, the house had other ideas. For the special family bond time, Mom and Mom's husband took us to a fancy restaurant. The three of them did the talking and bonding. I kept to myself. I watched Dad go red when the waiter brought his bill, and then he began to search his pockets like crazy.
I can't find my wallet.
Do a mobile transfer then, dear.
I had 10 grand in that wallet. That's the last of our savings till our next salary.
Maybe it's at home?
With our luck, I just knew that wallet might never be found. The hotel management sent us home with 2 of their security guards, so we could get the money and settle with them. But when we got home, we searched the whole house and didn't find the wallet. Mom volunteered to clear the debt by washing dishes for the restaurant. It should have been her husband. He's the one that lost the money. The next morning, I came downstairs with one single thought: food. The pizza we left on the table was still there in its box. But when I opened it, each piece had been eaten save for the tomato rings piled into a pyramid as if to mock me.
What now? Ghost pizza?
This was supposed to be for breakfast, and you ate it all?
I didn't. And Dad doesn't eat leftover pizza.
I felt goosebumps prick my skin as I stared at the pizza. The pizza didn't eat itself.
Okay. Maybe a hungry burglar?
When I showed him the pizza, he got a tense look on his face. First your wallet, now this. There's something or someone in this house. Call the police. That basement.
No one is calling the police. Dad, I think I agree with Gwen this time. I'll throw this in the bin.
I was 100% sure at this point that he must have had a hand in all the things that had been driving me crazy in this house. And that basement would have the answers I needed. I was determined to check it tonight. The next night, I crept out of my room and made for the basement. I was very close to the short staircase leading down to the basement when I noticed someone's shadow behind me. Who's there? Iris, you can't stop me.
I believe you now. Either there's a thief or a ghost. Let's get him.
A smile bloomed on my face as we stared at each other for a few seconds, and she smiled back. Finally, someone believed me. Just as I reached for the basement door handle, my phone rang.
It's midnight. Who's that?
Hello? Frank?
Hey, Gwen. Where are you now?
Just in my room. Reading a book?
Yeah? Can I see a picture of it?
Just a minute. Yes, shame on me. I did just leave Iris there at the basement door, but I couldn't tell Frank what we were really up to. Back in my room, I just grabbed a random book and took a photo of it.
No, I don't recognize it. Hey, I was wondering if we could go out tomorrow.
Getting invited on another date with Frank? I forgot all about the basement. All I could think of was our date tomorrow. But what happened was beyond my wildest dreams. Our date the next day was going really well until Frank suggested we get something to eat. Thanks.
Anytime.
So, you were talking about your brother.
He works in the National Museum.
The one paintings were stolen from?
Yeah.
Suddenly, Frank began to stack the tomatoes he's eating into the same pyramid pattern as the one the thief left last night. Was Frank the one who had been haunting our house? Memories of how we met and how he seemed to know things about me even before I told him. Then, what about Iris's dad? I was getting some odd signals from him too. I had to tell Iris about Frank. I have an errand to run. Sorry. Bye. My mind was on fire. Was Frank somehow living in our house? When I got back to the house, what I saw did not reassure me. Mom, what's going on?
Iris has been missing since this morning, honey. Did you see her?
No, I left for my date early this morning.
She's new here and maybe got lost wandering. We'll find her.
By evening, there was still no word from the police, and I became very worried. Maybe Iris was missing because we had gone too close to the basement. I had to tell my parents everything. Iris and I tried to go to the basement last night.
What? Why?
We didn't go in, okay? Well, I don't know if she did because I got a call and left her there. Or maybe whatever is in the basement took...
Oh no! Maybe she went in and the ceiling fell on her. Why do you believe that there's someone there?
I began to believe all of you that it was just in my head, but it's not. All of the clues add up, and I think that you are protecting whatever is in there. Suddenly, Dad stood up and advanced on me threateningly. I stood my ground.
What are you saying?
I called the police, told them I kidnapped a girl and hid her in the basement. They will have to check by force now.
Gwen,
I don't know.
Why didn't you call the police when Iris and I asked you to?
We still owe our former landlady some money. I heard recently that she filed a complaint to the police and I didn't want to talk to them.
It's true, Gwen.
Well, if Mom said it was true, then it was.
Open up.
We all went downstairs and opened the door for the policeman. Then we led them to the basement.
We got an anonymous call that a girl was being held here. We think it may be Iris.
Despite all the police efforts to pry the basement door open, it wouldn't budge. I think I know another way. I led Dad and the policeman outside to the side of the house I had seen the footprints disappear to. I fumbled along the wall, and suddenly, my hand hit a lever. The wall silently opened to the basement. I knew it!
Unbelievable. Everyone